folks, Alan BePro here today. I was asked to make a video on the reasons why I chose the USCCA. There was a number of reasons why. Come to find out, I had a lot more reasons why I chose the USCCA than I had previously believed until I started making the list on why I chose the USCCA over another company. I'm not going to be listing all of the reasons why. I don't want this to be a 50-minute long video. And on top of that, I'm not going to be bashing another company. I may say another company. Some of you may know who I'm speaking of. But anyway, these are the 6 main reasons why I chose the USCCA in no particular order. The first reason why I chose the USCCA is it's not a state-based company. There's plenty of state-based companies out there, and a lot of them, if you read the fine print, their coverage is not valid in any other state. So if you ever do any travel, like I'm doing a bunch of traveling right now myself, but I have been known to do some traveling. If you do any traveling, your insurance may not be any good if you happen to be in another state. Even if your concealed weapons permit has reciprocity in that state, you're abiding by every law for that state, your coverage may not be good in that state. So one of the reasons why I chose the USCCA is it's not a state-based company, it's national. The second reason why I chose the USCCA over some other companies is some of the loopholes that you see in their coverage is just phenomenal. Now, I'm not a lawyer, okay? I started looking at the policies themselves, and you almost need to be a lawyer to understand some of the little rhetoric that they put into the policies, the fine print, as it's known. And some of the policies out there make it so difficult for the company to have to pay out anything at all. They cover every basis that they can possibly cover to where they don't have to pay hardly anything at all. If you're carrying a concealed weapon, I urge you to get some type of coverage. Look at the companies yourselves. You might be able to find things in policies that I wasn't able to cover, but the USCCA's policy was pretty straightforward as for the fine print goes. You don't have to be a rocket scientist or a lawyer to figure it out, and that's one of the things that I liked about it. And there was a lot less loopholes in their system than other companies that I researched. The third reason why is it covers all of my self-defense weapons, including my hands. Okay, so if I need to pull my firearm, if I need to pull my blade, if I need to use my hands, the USCCA covers the self-defense situation as long as you were legitimately able to use your tools to defend yourself, including your hands. The USCCA covers that. I couldn't find a lot of other companies that just didn't have that. They didn't have that in their policy statements. It was predominantly about firearms. So a lot of other companies only cover firearms. Well, what happens if you have to pull your blade? What happens if you have to use your hands? What happens if you have to go hands-on? Your policy is not going to cover you. It's just not. So that's the third reason, is it covers all my self-defensive tools. The fourth reason is some of the other companies out there are notorious for putting you on mailing lists and this, that, and the other thing. I wasn't that concerned about that, but some of the other companies hit you up for money all the time. They want you to donate to this, donate to that, donate to this. They'll hit you up for money on a regular basis. Okay, as anybody that that looks at my channel will know, I'm not that great funded. I rat hole every penny that I can. So I'm not looking to make donations to stuff all the time. I'm just not. And USCCA, they won't be hitting me up for money all the time. The fifth reason, I'm going to kind of roll two things into this. A lot of companies do have a grip of training material. They have a large amount of training material, but some of them don't have like a critical response phone number that you call when you get locked up. So if I'm in a situation where I have to use my weapon or my hands to defend myself and I get arrested, they give me instructions on the back of the card along with a critical response phone number. This is calling your lawyer. A lot of these companies don't have a 24/7, 365-day staffed critical response number. My fifth reason, they have a critical response number. They have a large amount of training material. I kind of lumped that into that because I had to include that as an honorable mention. My number 6 reason is you can choose your attorney. Okay, one of the things that people were complaining about early on about the USCCA is they choose their attorneys, and so their attorneys get to defend you or not defend you, and if they don't do a good enough job and you're found guilty, then they don't have to pay. I see that. So if I'm found guilty of using my weapon improperly in a self-defense situation, there's not a single policy out there that will cover you. They just won't. But the USCCA makes it available to where you can use your own attorney if you choose to. Most companies, they're not out there for that. They're not out there for that. They're going to make you use your attorneys. And if they're really crappy attorneys and you end up getting convicted for something that you shouldn't have been convicted for because your attorney sucked, well, they don't have to pay. So that's my 6 reasons, the top 6 reasons why I chose the USCCA over most other companies. I'd like to hear some comments below. If you guys have this coverage, have other coverage, want to debate them back and forth, that's great. I like healthy conversation. And I always want to tell you, keep your magazines loaded and one in the chamber.